Hi guys, and welcome to our Sunday slot. This week we are going to be thinking about strengths and weaknesses. So now is the time, if you've ever wanted to challenge anyone in your household for a good old-fashioned arm wrestle. This is our first challenge. So you can do this either at the same time that we're doing ours, or if you're much stronger than we are, you can pause the video and give it a go then. But now is definitely the time to challenge someone in your household to a good old-fashioned arm wrestle. So for those of you that don't know, what you need is a flat surface. You need two people, yes, two opponents. And what you're going to do is you're going to link your arms with your thumbs kind of attached over each other, I guess, and then you clasp your hand around the other person's hand. One opponent is going to push this way, and the other opponent is going to push this way. And then the winner is the person who gets the hand down first, if that makes sense. So we'll give it a go, and we hope that you're giving it a go too. Are you ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go. I'm stronger than you. He's actually trying really hard now. Oh, almost got my other hand involved. Do not do that at home. Oh. As you can see, I lost. And we have a victor. Now, whether or not your opponent appeared to be stronger than you, good work, you still tried your best. Well, we hope that you tried your best. So even in your weakness, you were still strong. Now that's something that we call a paradox. The Bible is full with paradoxes, and they can be a little confusing. So how can I be strong if I'm weak? Well, in the Bible, there was a guy called Paul. Paul had an issue that was making him weak. And not physically weak, not where he couldn't win an arm wrestle, but more internally weak, to do with maybe his emotions or his character. He pleads with God, please take away my weakness. But God says that his power is made perfect in weakness. Confused? Well, what it means is that in our weakness, God's strength is shown. We find out about God's amazing strength in our weaknesses. Sometimes we cover our weaknesses because we think that makes us less useful. However, God says that when we are weak, then he is able to work powerfully through us. So I'd like you to do an activity now, and I hope I'm going to explain it well. I would like you to get a piece of paper, and you'll need some colouring pencils or just pens if you don't want to use colouring pencils. And we are going to draw 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. The first big circle, and it needs to be a big circle, represents God. The smaller inner circles represent our weaknesses and our strengths. Now, sometimes it can be a bit confusing if we think that a certain trait is either a strength or a weakness. So it might be useful for your circles to overlap. So where you can have both, that maybe a characteristic is a strength and a weakness. So some of the things that I've put in my strengths I've put sociable, responsible, fun, and loyal. In my weaknesses, I've put selfish and judgmental. And in my both, in this green one, I've put questioning, because sometimes questioning can definitely be a strength, and sometimes it can be a bit of a weakness. So now's the time for you to draw your circles and think about what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Now, that activity isn't because we want to remind ourselves or make us feel bad about our strengths and about our weaknesses, but it's so that we can see that even when we feel a little weak in some things, that God's grace, so this big circle here, is big enough and powerful enough to still work through us in spite of these weaknesses and these strengths. So we hope that you've had a really good Sunday, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, guys.